How goes it, YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review Tyler the Creator's debut project, Bastard. Now, this is a mixtape. Tyler the Creator refers to this project as his debut album, and it's a pretty kick-ass project here. Definitely some interesting vibes about it, and it helped kick off the odd future whirlwind that kind of took off throughout the early 2010s and such. But they were actually around in the late 2000s. They have released a project before this one called the Odd Future Tape Volume 1, which came out in 2008. And the thing about these guys, it's been a little while since I've reviewed Tyler the Creator and Odd Future. I reviewed Goblin back in the day and I enjoyed that. And I wondered about this project as far as the quality of it and just the rest of it. And I remember Odd Future Tape Volume 2 from back in the day and wondering why they started off a studio album with Volume 2. And it was because Odd Future, the mixtape, was Volume 1 and it was a mixtape and it was free. So that's kind of the concept there. I am going to get to that one, but it's been a long while since I've touched base with Tyler the Creator, and I wanted to get some more of these projects figured out and see the quality of them. I do listen to Goblin off and on by Tyler the Creator, and I do listen to the Odd Future Tape Volume 2 off and on as well. So I wanted to kind of retouch base with some of these and kind of find some more of these songs and projects that I wind up liking by Odd Future and Tyler the Creator and such. That's kind of the thing there. This is kind of a warped project, but it has some difference. It's kind of a warped project, but it has like a particular theme across this project that's pretty clever, and I definitely like the concept behind it. It's just not standard club bops and like songs of just getting stoned and that type stuff, and like dance club songs and R&B songs and that sort of stuff, the standard stuff in a mixtape. Tyler kind of takes like a more alternative hip hop type style, and it kind of has like a particular gloss towards it that we're going to talk about. But I'll get to that. For now, the singles. The first single off this project was Bastard, and I wasn't really too big a fan of this song. It kind of kicks it off, and it kind of is like a horrorcore song. This has this real kind of creepy-esque, this kind of melancholy, creepy ass kind of piano beat on here. It was kind of a lengthy song. Tyler called out some hip hop blogs and that sort of thing, and I kind of think this was around the time 2009, 2010, early 2010s was kind of around the time when the hip hop blogs were starting to get their wings and were helping out the hip hop websites and that type stuff. A lot of stuff here, but this is one of those ones, you think of Casey Veggies, you think of like Odd Future, you think of like other folks like Kanye West and like the Cruel Summer, or the not yeah, the Cruel Summer days and some of those type moments. But this is definitely heralded in terms of that, but I just was not enjoying like the beat, and it was kind of it just didn't have like a very kind of synchronized kind of sound on Bastard. I feel like for a debut song and a debut single by Tyler the Creator, I was expecting something a little bit more with a bit more finesse and kind of just overall synchronization towards it, but this song didn't have that. I mean, this is a good project and is going to get a pretty high score, but this is not the opening song that I enjoyed by Tyler the Creator. But I did like French. The second single. This one has a little bit more immediate beat and a little bit more in your face, and it brings his pal along for the ride, Haji Beats, who's also on Goblin and is on a few songs, I think like Sandwiches. And like this song kind of reminds me of Yonkers, not quite as immediate and not quite as crazy off the chain as Yonkers, but definitely a good kind of entry kind of vanilla club bop on there that I definitely appreciated. This is this kind of one that for like a spare and stock Tyler the Creator song, if you don't want something too dramatic or too alternative or just something that needs that kind of instant kind of appeal, this immediate gratification, I feel like French is a good choice for Tyler the Creator fans and that type of stuff. I definitely think that this is a nice one, and not just Tyler the Creator fans, but folks that are checking out Tyler the Creator and such. But I would have to say it's nice on there. I do like Haji Beats on there. I like these kind of Tyler the Creator and Haji Beats team ups because he was one of the ones that I kind of saw as like I originally thought that Haji was going to be the next to drop an album after Tyler back in the day, but I want to say he did. They dropped like some project I don't remember. I think it was called like Black and White or something like that. But yeah, so the third single is VCR, and this is kind of where the theme of the album kind of takes off. VCR is kind of where the theme of the album takes off. So this is a really kind of mellow, and just the bells in the song and the production just really kind of give off. Like to me, this whole album just screams being at some sort of fancy hotel with the waterfalls and like the fancy ornaments and that type stuff and the plants inside the building and that sort of thing. I just would have to say it really just kind of gives off. Like Tyler surprised me just by having this kind of fancy, despite the fact that he made this project with like GarageBand and FL Studio and some of those type works. I did like the concept that a lot of this kind of has like this very much kind of outgoing and kind of like a sophisticated kind of hotel type vibe throughout most of the project. There's more than 4 songs that have this type of production on here, and this is interesting to kind of have like it's not, like I said, it's not filled with songs like smoking songs and ravaging club cuts and dance club cuts and posse cuts and mean mugging music and thuggish music and that type stuff and R&B tunes and just all that sort of stuff. It really, I mean, there are some R&B tunes, but for the most part, for the most for a lot of the part, there's a lot of kind of lo-fi, kind of mellow, just kind of spa like music. I just feel like this would be perfect music for like a spa or like a hotel, just sitting by the pool, something like that. It's just interesting to kind of get that because there's so many of these, but VCR just really has that real mellow kind of spa type feel towards it that I liked. And it's just an interesting kind of angle just because there's not a ton of music that kind of does this, and especially considering the fact that it's free. It just really kind of, if you're looking for like a hotel getaway and you're gonna go to like a hotel for like the next 3, 4, 5 days and you don't want to spend like $50 on music, this is definitely a great project to turn to for just like some good kind of take a chick to the hotel type vibes and that type stuff, and just chillax with some buddies and have some swishers there and that type stuff. Get some breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning and really pig out. It's just got some great feels for that. I'm going to go ahead and list the 9 songs out of 15 I recommend. So those 9, maybe even 10 songs, I can't remember. I think it's 9 or 10, but I'm going to count them. So the 9 songs I recommend are Seven, French, Blow, Pigs Fly, Slow It Down, VCR Wheels, Session, Tina, and Inglorious. So that is 9, but that's quite a bit still, for especially for a free project, considering that you can just hop on DatPiff, get this for free, not without paying a penny for it. That's pretty awesome just to be able to sit there and get these kind of quality cuts here. So I would have to say, like when I talked about the hotel type numbers on here, the kind of spa and hotel type feels and swimming pool type feels by indoor swimming pool type feels, I'll describe some of these songs to you that are like that. So I feel like Blow, Pigs Fly, Inglorious, Session, VCR Wheels, and Seven all kind of do that. That's a lot. That's like 6 songs that kind of go for that sort of thing. Now, Seven kind of has like, it's kind of an amalgamation of like a song where it's half this and half that, where the first part of the verse is kind of the more hotel type feel, and then the second part kind of feels like a mild club bop in a sense. This kind of has that kind of synths in there that kind of make it a little bit crazier. So that's a nice one that does that. And then VCR Wheels. And then VCR Wheels, I forgot to talk about this, but VCR Wheels basically switches towards like the end of towards the middle of the song, switches to like kind of like a slanted, kind of woozy type feeling towards it that just kind of reminded me like maybe getting a drink, something like that, just noticing that like you're starting to trip out a bit, that sort of thing. So just kind of where it just kind of turns into a little bit like of a psychedelic type feel towards the end of that song, VCR Wheels. So that's kind of the concept there. But so just a lot of great spa type music, great kind of indoor swimming pool, just kind of sophisticated, kind of relaxed, kind of more like there's another word for it, but just kind of savory type feel. I would definitely kind of say it's interesting kind of get that because Tyler the Creator was only like 18 when he made this sort of music, so it was just interesting that he wasn't trying to make like 10 or 12 club bops and smoking songs and posse songs and that type of stuff and all the thug posturing and that type of stuff. It's just interesting. This had a real original feel. This was definitely ahead of the time for what was going on, especially for free music. There's just so much to kind of say about it in terms of how original it was, and just it went in alternative hip hop direction, went in a different direction, tried some new stuff, and just had some real rave qualities about it. and had like a great angle that just was separate from a lot of things that were around at that time. So that's definitely kind of the concept. But to talk about some of the songs I didn't like, despite that this album has over half of the project is pretty damn good, I still feel like there is the kind of overlaying factoid that this project can be kind of awkward at times, just talking about some of the song titles. Like Tyler really embellishes kind of in the awkwardness kind of concept just because there's really not too many song topics that have pretty much are really ever picked for like song titles like VCR wheels, ass milk, Jack and the Beanstalk, Inglorious, Odd Toddlers. I mean, there's just a lot of kind of differential song topics on there that just don't have like a very immediate interface as far as trying to select some of these and figure out like, oh, hey, like this is like, like some song like 21 Questions or like Without Me or something like that that just kind of has an immediate, oh, this is going to be a crunk type number. Swishes and Doja by UGK, that type stuff. So it just kind of lets you know. I mean, Odd Future, that's the whole concept of them is they were kind of odd fellows, but that's just kind of the context. And on top of that, with not just the songs being awkward, but there's some bad beats on here. Like Ass Milk was really kind of a random one that just didn't work that well. Sarah might have been better, but I wasn't really digging that one. And didn't really like the beat on Jack and the Beanstalk or Odd Toddlers. There just were some awkward ones kind of on here that it just kind of, I mean, I feel like Tyler had some good angles that he had on here. Definitely like the lo-fi kind of hotel music, and then like some club bops that he did. But apart from some of these angles, I still feel like some of this was just kind of extraneous in a lot of ways. It just didn't really serve up something. I would have liked to have liked Bastard if maybe 2.5 minutes had been trimmed off that song and kind of just a little bit more concise and that type of stuff. I probably would have picked that one too. It's interesting because Tyler the Creator he used to be very much like a shock rapper, kind of like Eminem and like Marilyn Manson were back in the day. So he did do that kind of stuff, and I think that's what he was aiming for with the song Bastard. But it was kind of a messy song that just the arrangement behind it wasn't cohesive enough. But I do like Tyler the Creator on his shock value. He did do that on Goblin. He kind of tried to do that here, but it's kind of a lengthy song. So I'm going to give this mixtape, me liking 9 songs out of 16. I'm going to give this mixtape basically a 7.5 out of 10. I really feel like if I had disliked another song or two, I probably would have given it like an 8, something like that. It definitely, most of this project is pretty good. So for me, giving a mixtape a 7.5 really signifies the quality behind it. And that's just kind of the concept where this is pretty outstanding. 2 out of 3 of the singles I enjoyed, and Tyler's personality is good. He can rap extremely well. He's a pretty good producer. He's got some good guests on here, so he has some help from his Odd Future buddies. He has chemistry with Haji Beats, and there's just a lot of good things. And he picked like a pretty original niche with this hotel music. So that's just some good stuff about this project that really has the quality towards it. And for the most part, this is excessively good. It just works extremely well, and that's kind of the concept. So the social score, I'm going to go ahead and give like a 6.5 out of 10 because I do feel like this is quality stuff, but it just depends upon the energy. For folks that are looking for something a little bit more rave and raucous, it doesn't really have that. This is a lot more chill. I mean, there are songs like French and Slow It Down that kind of have some of that craziness. And oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Tina. That's another song that I forgot to talk about. French, Slow It Down, and Tina are kind of some of the raucous songs, just kind of in a mild sense of like tearing up the club type feel. But to talk about Tina in terms of songs I enjoyed, this one kind of felt like a song you'd listen to just kind of in a house party setting. Just kind of, they talk about being at the mall in this song, and I kind of like that concept where it just seemed like you're kind of maybe a little bit buzzed going to the mall and just kind of tripping out, something like that. Felt like an autumn type song for tripping out in the fall, going to a mall and just kind of having a good time with that sort of thing. So Tina is a great song. That's one of the crazier songs on here. But yeah, just to say that French, Slow It Down, and Tina are about the craziest it gets. But for the most part, this is a pretty lo-fi and just kind of mellow project as a whole. It's got sophistication, which is strange because Tyler was 17, 18 when he was making this, and that's kind of the concept. So it's just interesting kind of get that, but it does have that kind of vibe, and it's a kick-ass vibe and has some original stuff. And in terms of the future, the last project Tyler the Creator dropped was Call Me If You Get Lost in the summer of 2021. So I would have to say he'll probably have some new stuff soon. It'll be interesting to see the direction that he kind of goes in. But it's good to touch base and kind of see some of these. I'm going to get some more Tyler the Creator and Odd Future stuff wrapped up here pretty soon.